Hare Such as she, Shimad, divine grace, Abhaya Charanada Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada, ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, Ananda Koti, Vaishnava Vrinda, Namacharya Srila Haridas Prince Kamo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Srivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Kajaya Radha Krishna Govinda Sayam Kunda Radha Kunda Kiri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Ki Jai Macharam Ki Jai Jagadha Swami Ki Jai Manamai Ki Jai Srimati Lasadevi Ki Jai Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Go Premananda Hari all glorious the assembled devotees, all glorious the assembled devotees, all glorious the assembled devotees, all glorious to Shri Guru and Gauranga Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Paschachate Shatarya Namaste, Namaste, Naya. Namaste, Namaste, Naya.
Jai Happy with you.
But what happens now? Kelsey, you got to close the curtains. I'm waiting for the curtains to be closed. Wait till the curtains are closed. Jai. Jai Gaura Krishna Balaram Srila Prabhupada Jai. Vrindai Hai Tuksudai Hai Priyai Hai Krishna Vasyacha Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi Satya Vasyai Namo Namaha. Vrindai Hai Tuksudai Hai Priyai Hai Krishna Vasyacha Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi Satya Vasyai Namo Namaha. Vrindai Hai Tuksudai Hai Priyai Hai Krishna Vasyacha Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi Satya Vasyai Namo Namaha. Jai Tulsi Maharani ki Jai.
Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Priyasi. Namo Namaha Krishna Priyasi. Rama
Vishnu Bhakti Prati Devi Satchavachai Namo Namaha. Vrindai Hai Tulsidev Jai Jai Hai Krishna Satcha Vishnu Bhakti Prati Devi Satchavachai Namo Namaha. Jai Tulsi Maharani.
The 10 offenses of the holy name, starting with 1. To
Blessed is the devotees who are dedicated their lives to propagating the holy name of the Lord.
2.
To consider the names of living gods like Lord Shiva and Lord Rama.
3.
To disobey the orders of the spiritual master.
4. 5.
Hare Krishna to be met.
6.
He is a remembering Krishna holy name.
7.
To commit sinful activities of the chanting the holy name of the Lord.
8.
Hare Krishna.
9.
To accept their faith in person of the Lord of the holy name.
And 10.
Have faith in the chanting of the holy name. And to meditate with your death as even after and so many instructions on this matter. It is also necessary to meditate to while chanting. Anyone who neglects the right directions, violates the expenses, in order to complete the desires of Krishna.
Love for Krishna. Now let us offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Jai, jai, jai.
This is a letter to Upendra, August 6, 1970. Our society is like one big family, and our relationship should be based on love and trust. We must give up the fighting spirit and use our intelligence to push ahead, like Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj. No, I added.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
So wonderful to see all these wonderful devotees over here present on the Arati program. Hare Krishna. Welcome, thank you. So now we will have darshan as soon as the puja is ready. And then we'll have Guru Puja, then we'll have a class by Krishna Maharaj. And just to give a rundown of today's program, program will start around 3 for the Kirtan, up to 5 or something like that. 5 o'clock will be Maharaj's class until 6, and 6 o'clock is going to be initiation ceremony. And then go Arati around 6:30, so as soon as you finish the initiation yajna, the national prayers, and then everything else will follow after that. So there are 7 devotees who will be sitting around the fire sacrifice. So if you want to know who, come then, 5 o'clock, or before. And please, local devotees, whoever is there, you can also tell, we also need a lot of help to think around here, that's how it is in there. Yeah, everyone is in Madrid here. It would be helpful to hear. So, bring our hands together and then maybe then we can on time. So that's the and yes, Maharaj's Guru Puja will be also be done.
No.
No? No?
No,
Our
the
pose is-
disciple has to do that.
Yeah.
You have to allow. You
It's
don't
around
need.
homes.
You don't need. We need.
I don't need, it's too hot outside.
No, we're not going outside. We'll do it.
No, you can't do it. So, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is this Prabhupada Guru Puja now, or
No, after this, this doesn't happen now.
when's the darshan?
It's like ready. Probably? Yeah?
He was fine.
5 minutes? Good, I'm gonna say Gayatri.
Okay, that's good.
That's perfect.
Everything can happen.
I would say Gayatri.
Everybody?
First is
Yeah.
You need to pray yourself. Yes, all right.
The lowest speed of the Master.
God honors his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of the suffering and attain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified with the Lord emanating from the lotus now. Attachment to the lotus feet is the perfection of all the lives. All the Muslim Maharaj, still Maharaj, and the knowledge. He is my Lord, Maharaj, from him and I recognize. My name is Lord. The very scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, Lord, and master of the mercy. All master who breathes the kingdom, give me the
His Divine Grace Vaya Chamanada Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Sanatha Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Say Go Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Krishna Govinda Shan Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Ki Jai, Mathuram Ki Jai, Dasami Ki Jai, Vrinai Ki Jai, Shivani Vasudeva Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, All Premananda, all glory is the assembled Lord, all glory is the assembled Lord, all glory is the Shri Guru and Gauranga Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Class now. How long do we have for class?
That's fine. 5
Yeah, if we read more. Red Rule today. Was it? I can read more Red Rule. Who does?
Please go forward or vegetarian members.
It's a little, you gotta follow this melody. It's a little bit different than you're used to. It's pretty much the same, but it's different. His Divine Grace Savaya Chaitanya Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananda Goti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Acharya Srila Thakur Jai. Friend, say Go Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Veda Gaur Bhakta Vrindika Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shai Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Ki Jai Mathurdam Ki Jai Jagatasami Ki Jai Yamunamari Ki Jai Shrimati Vasudeva Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrindika Ki Jai Gaur Premananda. All glory is to the assembled participants. All glory is the assembled participants. All glory is the assembled participants. All glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaur Premananda. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shimani Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Chari Shesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Desha Tarne Shilprabhupada Ki Jai. So we are reading from 5th canto, 18th chapter, text 13, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Harir, He, Sakshat, Bhagavan, Shariranam, Atma, Drishanam, Iva, Toyam, Ipsitam, Hitva, Maham, Yadi, Sajate, Grihe, Tada, Mahatvam, Vayasa, Dampatinam, Harir Hi Sakshat Bhagavan Sharirnam, Atma Jashanam Iva vivatoyam ipsitam.
Atma-jashanam vivatoyam ipsitam.
Vamam stam yadi sajjate grahe.
Vamam stam yadi sajjate grahe.
Chidamah tvam vayasadam bhaktinam.
Tadamahatvam vayasadam bhaktinam.
Aviri sakshat bhagavan sharirinam.
Aviri sakshat bhagavan sharirinam.
Atmajashanam vivatoyam ipsitam.
Atma-jashanam vivatoyam ipsitam.
Vamam stam yadi sajjate grahe.
Vamam stam yadi sajjate grihe.
Ramatvam vayasadam bhaktinam.
Ramahatvam vayasadam bhaktinam.
Aviri sakshat bhagavan sharirinam.
Aviri sakshat bhagavan sharirinam.
Atmajashanam vivatoyam ipsitam.
Atma-jashanam vivatoyam ipsitam.
Vamam stam yadi sajjate grahe.
Vamam stam yadi sajjate grihe.
Ramatvam vayasadam bhaktinam.
Ramahatvam vayasadam bhaktinam.
हरिः साक्षात् भगवान् शरीराम
Hare sakshat bhagavan sharirinam.
आत्माजशानम् इव तोयमुक्षितम्
Atma-jashanam vivatoyam ipsitam.
हित्वा महास्तं यदि सज्जते गृहे
Hitva mahamstam yadi sajjate grihe.
रामहात्मं जयसादं भक्तमपत्तिनाम्
Tadamahatvam vayasadam bhaktinam.
हरिः साक्षात् भगवान् शरीरिणाम्
Hare sakshat bhagavan sharirinam.
आत्माजसानाम् इव तोयम् ईप्सिताम्
Atma-jashanam vivatoyam ipsitam.
हित्वा महांस्तां यदि सज्जते गृहे
Hitva mahamstam yadi sajjate grihe.
तदा महात्मं वयसादं पतिनाम्
Tadamahatvam vayasadam bhaktinam.
हरिर्हि सत्सत् भगवान् शरीरिणाम्
Hare sakshat bhagavan sharirinam.
आत्मादशानां युवतोऽयमिप्सितम्
Atma-jashanam vivatoyam ipsitam.
हित्वा महांसां तं यादि सज्जते गृहे
Hitva mahamstam yadi sajjate grihe.
तदा महात्वां वयसा दम्पतिनाम्
Tadamahatvam vayasadam bhaktinam.
हरिर्हि सत्स भगवान् शरीरिणाम्
Hare sakshat bhagavan sharirinam.
आत्मा जशानाम् इव त्वयम् ईप्सिताम्
Atma-jashanam vivatoyam ipsitam.
हित्वा महांस्तां यदि सज्जते गृहे
Hitva mahamstam yadi sajjate grihe.
तदा महात्मं वयसादं पतिनाम्
Tadamahatvam vayasadam bhaktinam.
All right. Hare, the Lord. He, certainly. Sakshat, directly. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Sharirinam, of all living entities
Of all living entities
who have accepted material bodies.
who have accepted material bodies.
Atma, the life and soul.
The life and soul.
Dashanam, the aquatics.
Aquatics.
Diva, light.
Light.
Toyam,
Toyam,
the vast water.
the vast water.
Ipsitam,
Ipsitam,
is desire.
is desire.
Hitva, giving up.
Giving up.
Mahan, the great personality.
The great personality.
Tam, him.
Him.
Yadi, if. Sajjate,
Sajjate,
becomes attached.
becomes attached.
Grihe, to household life.
Also life.
Tada, that of the husband and wife. So translation, just as aquatics always desire to remain in the vast mass of water, all conditioned living entities naturally desire to remain in the vast existence of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, if someone very great by material calculations fails to take shelter of the Supreme Lord, but instead becomes attached to material household life, his greatness is like that of a young, low-class couple. One who is too attached to material life loses all good qualities. So, we'll go ahead to Srila Prabhupada's purport. Although crocodiles are very fierce animals, they are powerless when they venture out of the water onto land. When they are out of the water, they cannot exhibit their original power. Similarly, the all-pervading supersoul is the source of all living entities, and all living entities are part and parcel of him. When the living entity remains in contact with the all-pervading Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, he manifests his spiritual power, exactly as the crocodile exhibits its strength in the water. In other words, the greatness of the living entity can be perceived when he is in the spiritual world, engaged in spiritual activities. Many householders, although well educated in the knowledge of the Vedas, become attached to family life. They are compared herein to crocodiles out of the water, where they are devoid of all spiritual strength. Their greatness is like that of a young husband and wife, who, though uneducated, praise one another and become attracted to their own temporary beauty. This kind of greatness is appreciated only by low-class men with no qualification. Everyone should therefore seek the shelter of the Supreme Soul, the source of all living entities. No one should waste his time in the so-called happiness of materialistic household life. In the Vedic civilization, this type of crippled life is allowed only until one's 50th year, when one must give up family life and enter into the order of Vanaprasthas, independent retired life, for cultivation of spiritual knowledge, or a sannyas, the renounced order, in which one completely takes shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There's a lot of talking about that. What? What? Well, if you can keep the door closed or something, because I can hear it.
It's close the door.
Just make sure the door is closed. Okay, so again, Harir Visaksha Bhagavan Shadiri Namatma Chitanam Mikatoyam Ipsitam Ikhamaham Stam Yadi Sajate Grahe Chitamahakvam Vayasa Sampatinam. So, we're going on to the Nandasha. Tasmai Shikare Namaha. Prabhupada Vijay. So this is a very interesting verse, and there's many things that are indicated here by this verse. One thing is indicated before we get into the stuff about picking up one's household life, which is a scale overview. Particularly young folks who get married. But anyway, one of the things that is very interesting is that this verse actually points out that we are originally Krishna conscious living entities. Sometimes there's this discussion that where do we come from? And some people say we were born in a Brahma Yogi or something like that, and born in the Tashta. That's right. Let him go. I can tolerate. I can tolerate this. So there's people who have this philosophy, that we weren't originally with Krishna. And the problem with that philosophy is then one would think that we were sent here in the material world immediately without any choice. In other words, we weren't, if the people say we weren't with Krishna, that indicates that we just came here, we were born in the Brahmajyoti, or born in the material world, or born in the Tatashta Shakti. Actually, there's no such thing as the Tatashta Shakti. Tatashta Shakti is just the technical name of what the Jiva soul is a category. Tatashta Shakti is a category. Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes it like Tatashta. The word Tatashta means like the line between the shore and the ocean. It's like an imaginary line because you can't be on that line because the line, if anyone studied mathematics, the line has actually no dimensions. It's just like a point in space has no dimensions. Well, a line has like length but no breadth. So you really can't exist on the line. You're either on one side or the other. Or you might be on 1 foot in the water and 1 foot in the land. That's true too. But you're never on the line of demarcation between the shore and the ocean because it's just, you're either wet or dry. So, we didn't appear from the Tatashta Shakti. We are Tatashta Shakti. That's our category. Just like Krishna is Vishnu Tattva, right? Krishna and all of his various incarnations are the category of Vishnu, Vishnu Tattva. That's the Tattva, that's the category, that's the ontology. So everybody understands that. That's not that Krishna came from the Vishnu Tattva. The same way the Jiva soul didn't come from here because Krishna, many places indicates that we're eternal. Right? Isn't it? He says, you know, Jagdisha Shastra Purana, so born, dies, is not slain when your body is slain, and we're also part and parcel of Krishna, and we're also imbued with the Chitsak Shakti, the material potency, which Bhakti talks about. So we don't just come into existence at one particular time. We are Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. We're not the supreme Brahman, but we're tiny Brahman. And Brahman, interestingly enough, never gets transformed. If you think that Brahman gets transformed, then you're guilty of Mayavad philosophy. Does everybody understand that? So the supreme Brahman never gets transformed. That's called, technical word in Sanskrit for transformation is parinama. So even Shankaracharya did not accept Brahman parinama. He accepted what's called Brahman vivarta, which means Brahman gets an evolution, but not Brahman parinama. So the Brahman, we are Brahman, Brahmasmi, that's from the Vedic literature, so actually they would say that we're Brahman, and also that we're Brahman. That's one of the Mahabhaktas, even of the Mayavadis. Brahmasmi, Tadvamasi, different Mahabhaktas, the sayings of the Mayavadis. So anyway, so we're Brahman. Brahman doesn't get transformed. But because our Brahman, our category of Brahmanas, who we are, can be covered. And so we're basically covered, but we're covered due to our own choice, not just because Krishna's just cruel to us and wanted to send us to school. We're not like the children. The children are born in ignorance. I hate to say that, in case we have children. But they're actually born and they don't have any knowledge. At least they have no knowledge of ABCD. They have no knowledge how to walk. And actually, human children probably have a lot less faculties than animal children do. For example, if you ever seen a cow being born, a cow or calf can walk roughly 5 minutes after it's born. 3 minutes, whereas a human being takes how long? Years of thing to be able to walk. I remember trying to walk, falling over, standing up again. So anyway, yes, for a child you need education, and a child doesn't have education, and a child will be ignorant. Won't know how to read or write. But the soul is not like that. The soul's Krishna consciousness is inherent There's that discussion. Inherent or inherited. Which we gave Sunday feast class about that a while ago. It's not inherited, it's inherent. Inherent means that the soul simply needs to be, the soul of the conditioned world simply needs to be woken up. Just like you have Bhakti Thakur's songs, such as Lundadaya Kirtan, Jeev Jado, Borda Chanda, Bole. Wake up, sleeping soul. How long will you be sleeping in life? Which called Maya, also by the big example, and by the chanting of Hare Krishna. The chanting can be compared to an alarm clock, sound vibration that wakes someone up in the morning. Prabhupada said, when you wake up in the morning, and we've all experienced this, when you wake up in the morning, nobody has to tell you, unless you have dementia, severe dementia, but nobody really has to tell you who you are. I mean, sometimes, no, I've experienced when I'm traveling, I always remember who I am, but sometimes I don't remember where I am. Doesn't it feel like I travel a lot, and I just have to think for a second, where is the door? Where is the bathroom? Because if I don't remember correctly, I'll probably walk off the balcony. It's on the second story. I won't get in trouble. So anyway, so it's a question. You just wake up. Brothers, if the alarm clock rings, or the phone rings now, or the watch rings, and wakes you up, and you just say, "Oh, I have this duty to perform." So that's why we have this glorification of the Maha Mantra, that the chanting of the Lord's holy names cleanses the heart and creates all good fortune. Because simply by chanting, one comes to the point of understanding who they are. As Prabhupada will often say, it's not an artificial imposition on the mind. You just chant. And basically, I experienced that years ago, in the story which I tell all the time, is that I was listening to the radio years ago, it was 1968 or something like that, before even Rishikesh was born. What year were you born? 62? Oh my God. I was listening to the radio, and I heard Prabhupada chanting, and it sort of, I got some spiritual realization. Of course, I didn't realize my spiritual identity at that time. I didn't realize too much. I just realized that it was time to join the Hare Krishna movement. So it was a wake-up call. Brahmanda, Brahmate, Konda, Bhagavan, Jeet, Guru, Krishna, Prasada, Bhari, Bhakti, Peace. He's wandering, and by the mercy of Krishna, he gets Guru, and the Guru gives him the Bhakti, Bhakti, the creeper of the seed of devotion. So, anyway, the main point is that Krishna consciousness is inherent, or like the crocodile, we have to get back in the water, the example Prabhupada gave here, to show our natural strength. Or, as Krishna Prabhupada gave another example, we're like fish out of the water. That's the typical example Prabhupada gave. The fish out of the water is not only strong, it's just flopping all around, and it also dies. It can't enjoy. Prabhupada would give the example sometimes that you take a fish out of the water, and you can give it all sorts of faculties, facilities, and it won't be happy. Even if it could breathe, which it can't breathe, but even if it could breathe, it won't be happy no matter what you give it. And so we're like fish outside of the water. That's another example of this. So we have to get back in the water, the nectarian ocean of devotional service. And then we automatically revive our spiritual nature. And it's pretty amazing. And I can say that from first-hand experience of being or practicing Krishna consciousness for 55 years, it works. You revive your spiritual nature. And of course, at the same time, we have our education, we read Prabhupada's books, Bhagavad Gita, Nectar Devotion, Chaitanya Charitamrita. But without that chanting, then it's just theoretical information. chanting, the deep chanting, as this morning we were hearing about the 10 offenses, and we'll speak a little bit more about them tonight during the initiation. The deep chanting, the service of the Vaishnavas, the kirtan, all these things waken one up so one can understand Shastra. So that's very important. It's a question of waking up. Krishna consciousness is a question of waking up and realizing that we're not going to be happy outside of Krishna consciousness. So in the second point here, we're not supposed to give a really long class this morning. So the second point here is about household life. And it's interesting that it's mentioned by Srila Prabhupada when people are young. Also Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his commentary says the same thing. That when people are young, they look at each other and they become bewildered. There's a song, when the moon hits your eye like a big piece of pie. That's a more. Anyone's heard that song before?
That was my Mother's Day.
It's really Mother's Day, not Mother's Day. So you see this illusion, and basically every conditioned soul is subjected to it. Even great souls like before Lord Brahma became pure, and then you have Lord Shiva who's chasing after the Mohini Murti all over the place. So this is a very bewildering factor in this world. So basically, what do you do about that? Is that everyone should just give up their homes, give up their families, take sannyas? No. Because like anything else in this world, this impulse, desire that people have, for those who are in the conditioned consciousness or not yet pure devotees, which is just about 99.999% of everybody, the whole idea is you engage these different needs. People have needs. I mean, what the impulses we have are due to certain needs that people have. And those needs, in order to be able to progress in spiritual life, those needs have to be satisfied in such a way that they're dovetailed with Krishna's service. So, therefore, it's important to have household life, but not materialistic household life. What is Prabhupada is decrying here is materialistic household life. Materialistic household life is known as Griha Medi life, where everything is based upon, I guess, romance and enjoyment, and it's just not spiritual. But everything is based on that, and then that's called Griha Andakupam in the Bhagavatam. Andakupam means like a blind well. Well, the reason blind well is used is sometimes when you have these wells that no longer have any water in them, or they have water in them, and they're covered up and someone's walking along, and they fall into a well. And they're yelling for help. Please help me, please help me. Or, another example Prabhupada gives, it's like an elephant, or when the people who from the zoo want to capture elephants, you know how they capture elephants? They make a big, big hole in the ground, and they put like a lady elephant on one side of the hole, and then the lady elephant does whatever she does that attracts male elephants. I don't know what she does. She waves her trunk around. I don't know what. I really don't have any experience with an elephant. And the male elephant says, "Wow, look at that! Look at the trunk on that." Oh, what beautiful trunks! What greatly beautiful trunks! Anyway, so the male elephant runs for the lady elephant, and he falls into the well, and the next thing he knows is he's at the Orlando Zoo. So that's why But if one engages, I mean, not only in household life, the attraction between men and women, just even the tongue, you know. The tongue is actually the most voracious and uncontrollable of all the senses, according to Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Dharani, Jivayati, Lokamoya, Sadurmati. So the point is that we have this desire to eat nice food. We have desire to see beautiful things. We have this desire to, you know, all these things, to smell nice things. So the whole idea is to dovetail these different desires we have in Krishna consciousness. And then, what happens at that particular point, the desires become purified and we're able to engage even what was previously the object of the senses, we're able to engage that particular person, thing, whatever it is, in Krishna's service and becomes a source of purification. So Krishna conscious household life is a source of spiritual purification. Because the husband and the wife, instead of just being in a romantic fantasy for 50 years, I don't think it lasts for 50 years, does it? What? 2 years, yeah. 2 years, 2 years, 3 minutes, and 20 seconds. So, instead of being this romantic fantasy, they're thinking, using their partnership as a means to please Krishna. You know, they're serving the deities. You know, perfect partnership. They're preaching. Especially in the Western world, grahastas can preach very, very nicely. You know, better than sannyasis. You know, sannyasis sort of frighten people in the Western world. I mean, for Indians, it's good because the Indians, they naturally pay respect. But in the Western world, you can walk out to season and say, I'm a sannyasi, so what? Would you like to come to my kutir, you know, some grass hut, and eat some dried bread balls? It's like people come to my house, and I show them what I cook, and they say, oh my God, how can you live like that? No fried food, no sweets, no pakoras, no rice, no jabal, no rice. Oh my God. Just like when I was a young devotee, here's an interesting story. I saw a sannyasi, and he was eating very little, you know, no sweets or anything like that. I thought, and people said, oh, he's so advanced. And I was thinking, I never want to be advanced if that's what it is. You know, because I was attached, gulab jamun, sweet rice, everything. You know, breakfast would be sweet rice and then the gulab jamun juice from the Sunday feast on top of the sweet rice. And then mixed with cholera, you know, all this stuff. So, but anyway, so the grahastha life is an ideal situation in which one can spread Krishna consciousness. A nice grahastha couple in charge of the temple here. And that's as good as a sannyasi. And in one sense, it may even be better than a sannyasi as far as preaching Krishna consciousness, you know, like Prabhupada said, utilities to principles, you know. That like Srila Prabhupada, when he wanted to spread Krishna consciousness in the UK, he sent the grahastas there. Prabhupada's godbrothers, you know, sannyasis went to UK, and also they went to Germany to preach. And you know, 1 or 2 people joined the movement. The UK was one lady, you know, it was Donley. And then one of Prabhupada's godbrothers joined from Germany too. But nothing really big, nothing substantial. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur called them back and wasn't even pleased with them. There's a description, he didn't even talk to them again after they came back. But Prabhupada sent some grahastas there to London, and all of a sudden, you know, of course, meeting George Harrison and all that other nice stuff. And all of a sudden, there was a giant movement there with a Ravi Yatra cart that was taller than the Nelson Nelson column, isn't it? I mean, just like shocked the Britishers. You know, having Rathi Yatra within 2 to 3 years. Rathi Yatra in London, it was just like overwhelming. Thousands of people. So the point is, utility is the principle, as Prabhupada said. Whatever works as far as bringing people to Krishna consciousness. And as far as renouncing the material world, like is indicated here, that's for materialistic people. Even it's mentioned by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the preferable stage of renunciation for grahastas is called Kshetra Sannyas, in which the grahastas serve the mission or serve the deities together as a partnership. So the grahasta life should be seen as a partnership for serving Krishna. That's right. Instead of this romantic conception, but that goes away anyway, naturally. And then one stays with their wife, basically for their whole life. There's no need to leave and take sannyas, or leave and get divorced. Because they, if someone, first of all, if someone has these desires still, then, they'll become something like Prabhupada said, a bachelor daddy. Prabhupada used that expression. And you see in the Western world, I actually was looking at the statistics recently of divorce rate, because people are just like attached to this romantic conception that goes away. And in one country, in Luxembourg, it's 86% divorce rate. America is like 46, 47%. Not too bad. It's like, it's like one tell us we lose. Type of thing. So, Krishna conscious grahasta life, if it is taken as a service of Krishna, and one is dharmic, and one stays together, and it becomes a source of ecstasy, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur talked about, home becomes Vrindavan. One's home can become Vrindavan. And one can make one's home holy place and serve the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So please don't take these statements by Prabhupada out of context, thinking one has to run away from his home to be Krishna conscious. There's some impediment. No, you can engage your own. Prabhupada tried his best to engage his home. His home was not engageable. Because when Prabhupada tried to preach Krishna consciousness, his wife interfered with his preaching. He would be giving class, and his wife would come around with a feather duster and blow dust in the face of Prabhupada's guests. So she sold his Bhagavatam for tea biscuits. So if your wife does that, then we'll talk about it. Come to trouble. That's the case. But otherwise, you should go serve Krishna. You can't invite people to your home. Prabhupada said when people get married, Prabhupada was asked, what's the duty of a grahasta? And Prabhupada said before they eat, they call out 3 times if anyone's hungry, they can come and eat. I mean, nowadays you can't do it, but the whole idea is to invite people to your house. Prabhupada gave the example of his own father. Every day, he said they have 3 or 4 sadhus coming to the house to take prashanam. Guests come to the house to take prashanam. So, in this way, grahasta life can actually be just as good or better than sannyasa life. There's no evidence for Krishna consciousness. Haitatiya pratyatariya prasupasiyati. Isn't that survival? Samvara dhamma. Tato bhaktiya sujay. Haitatiya pratyatariya prasupasiyati. That there's no cause, material cause to pure devotional service, and there's no impediment. One strictly following the sadhana process, strictly trying to please this Vandeshwar Bhagavad by spreading Krishna consciousness. I mean, some of our most successful devotees of us is the biggest book distributor, well, the one who's inspiring more devotees in the world to distribute books was by Sri Shekhar. He's a Rahasta. He's much more inspirational than realizes one's needs, engages one's needs, and the fulfillment of one's needs in Krishna consciousness, like walking through to Krishna and eating nice tasty prashadam. And then you go back to Radha and don't worry about it. Okay, so any questions or comments? Yes?
Krishna, we say that Kurma Brahman, when he wanted to leave his household life and go with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu,
Yeah,
and Chaitanya, can you,
he forbade him. You want to know the story?
yes, can you,
Well, Kurma Brahman in South India, Lord Chaitanya was touring South India, and he became attached to Lord Chaitanya, and just like gave everything up. And Lord Chaitanya said, don't ever talk like that. Studies to Tashri Vitam he quoted from the Bhagavatam. He said, just remain where you are here and chant. And Yadi Devatari Krishna Pradesh. You become guru. That doesn't mean you necessarily initiate people, but you give people Krishna consciousness. Right? The Grahastha ashram is an ideal situation to invite people and cultivate people in Krishna consciousness. It's ideal. You know, even when I travel, I usually stay with Grahasthas. It's better for me. But no, why do I do it? Because I had a certain diet and food like that. And I appreciate it. And Prabhupada very much appreciated the Grahasthas and children. Prabhupada put a lot of emphasis on children, the education of children, like that. So, anyway, so Kurma Brahman was sent back home. That's the ultimate. Yeah.
even though Thakur also, he gave most of his life for that also.
Yes, I've read except the last year or two. Last year or two, he just renounced everything. He made believe that he was sick so nobody would bother him. And he just chanted and engaged in what we call Nirjana Bhajan. Nirjana Bhajan, Nirjana means without anybody. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, yeah. A little bit Bhaktivinoda. Well, I would say that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, other than Vyasadeva, was the most prolific writer of Krishna conscious literature. I mean, you would read a list of all the books. I mean, I will never even get to an end as far as my reading of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's books in this lifetime. I cannot even read that much. How did he write that much? Well, he wrote that much was that he would get up at 10 o'clock every night and write all night long and take maybe a half hour rest before he went to work in the morning, eat very little, come back to a whole day's work at the court in a half day, you know, the equivalent of everyone else's work in a half day at the court. And then come back home again, talk, preach to guests, and spend most of the night writing Vaishnava literatures. I mean, right now we're studying the Java Dharma online. We have an online Java Dharma class every day. And it's amazing. It's amazing. Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Java Dharma is just like, it deals with all the different aspects of Krishna consciousness, Sambandha, Vidya, Prayojana, basic philosophy, how to practice, and then ultimately what happens in the spiritual world, and how to perform pure devotional service. So, you know, there's an example. Vyasadeva was also Grahastha. Actually, our most prolific writers were Grahasthas. That's interesting. I mean, Prabhupada wrote quite a bit too. But I think Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually, I don't know, I'm not very proud of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but it's so many volumes. I mean, I read all of Prabhupada's books, but I don't think I hope to read all of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's books in this lifetime. So many and song books, you know, so many song books. I mean, it's incredible what he did. And so, I mean, obviously we can't imitate Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but we can follow in his footsteps and do what we can do according to our capacity. So, the other question. Anyone else have a question? Yes, first question.
I just want to understand what is wakefulness. Jiv Jago, right?
Jiv Java.
Jiv Jago. So currently these activities I'm doing, it's like getting Bhagavatam from you. All these activities, is it still in the sleeping stage or is it in the wakeful stage?
Well, you're just like rubbing your eyes, right? Isn't it? Well, it's waking you up. It takes a while to wake up. Just like I've seen people. I mean, I wake up right away. Prabhupada said, actually, Chandra said we should sleep like a dog. You know why he said that? Because as soon as there's a sound, the dog. So, and Prabhupada was like that too. I mean, not but Prabhupada, I mean, there's devotees who talk about when they were with Prabhupada in the train, and Prabhupada was sleeping, and Prabhupada opened his eyes and was watching them. So the pure devotee doesn't sleep, rest the body. But I've seen some people, well, actually, I'll give you an example. Hopefully he's not watching. Oh yeah, he's watching. He's watching. I got problems. Okay, some people. Maybe I should knock it off for a second. At least said go ahead. So it's the same message. Some of you know. Anyway, some people, you just you wake them up and you say, "I need you right away," and this takes me 45 minutes to be ready. And then, now you got to come right away. This just like me to step out of my eyes after 15 minutes. But anyway, so some people, the more I find is that some people take longer to wake up, and some people wake up right away, even from a material perspective. So, but anyway, so it depends. Some of us are, I think Dr. We're talk about the different grades of sleeping people. And Dr. Thakur was talking about that in regard to uncivilized lives, civilized lives. It's in the Shikshamrita. Yeah, it's in the Shikshamrita. So there's different levels. And it also depends on how much devotional service we did in the past life or lives. You know, I remember like when I heard Prabhupada on the radio, it was just like, oh, like okay, let's go. You know, sorry, Prabhupada. Of course, it did take me 2 more years to join the Krishna conscious movement because the devotees preached so heavy that I didn't want anything to do with it. They told me I was going to hell unless I joined the Hare Krishna movement immediately. And it took Prabhupada again, meeting Prabhupada in the physical presence, to get me to actually listen in what Chaitanya Swami. What happened?
I said I actually ran away from the same people in Gainesville.
In Gainesville. And later on they became my good friends. So
You know, they changed.
they changed all the time. I'm not going to mention names.
May I ask one last question?
Yeah.
How important is public harina in awakening this dormant or sleeping?
I think if we chant purely, not simply with the desire to show off, you know, musical talents or whatever, is very important. Despite, you know, the holy name, like Prabhupada, first of all, by hearing Prabhupada on the radio was a public harina. That is a public harina. And you don't know who's out there, who's going to be affected, like that. Now, at the same time, I do believe that public harinas should be done rather professionally. Professionally in the sense like good singers should be there, good musicians should be there. It shouldn't be too percussive. You know, sometimes devotees, when they do the public harinas, it's just like that, you know, they go with all sorts of different instruments, and it's so loud, it's painful. And they're not singing in tune, and it's not musical. So it should be something that's attractive. You know, people should just hear the sound and something sweet or attractive. I mean, that's my. I mean, I know that even. I mean, I was in New York a little while ago, walking through the subway. This is not about devotees, and there was someone playing the guitar there. Wasn't a devotee, but he's played really nicely. So I actually stopped and listened to him for a while. He wasn't playing Hare Krishna. It wasn't a devotee. Maybe I was lying. But you know, I'm a musician, so I like someone who's playing nicely. You know, I understand musical notes and everything like that. And I said, this is really nice. And I was actually thinking if we could have that Krishna consciousness, that would attract people. So that Madhura Madanga Bhasha, as Bhakti Thakur says, the sweet sound of the Madanga. So the Madanga is played very, very sweetly. And I think that attracts people. I mean, I'm not saying that you have to use Western instruments. You can, I do. But it should be a sweet, something that attracts people. Something people want to join in with. That's how we used to have the Harinam. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Vishnu John Maharaj. Like his Harinams. I mean, he would get like anybody would join in and hear. And devotees used to carry a little banner with the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra on it. And they went on Harinam. And they gave out little mantra cards and everything like that. People would join the chant. And it was very beautiful. So I think in the Harinams we should consider the people we're chanting for. We're not just chanting for ourselves, but we should consider their musical taste. I think that's pretty important. And that way we can they'll be more inclined to listen. All right. So yes, public chanting is wonderful if it's done in the right way. I mean, we used to be a little wild when I was a devotee. Sometimes we would have these Harinams and there'd be someone walking down the street, you know, some old lady walking down the street. And we just like, you do Harinam with the line, you just go make a circle around her. This poor old lady, it was like, oh my God. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So I mean, I think we have to consider our audience when we do the Harinams. You know, what would get them to chant? Because the whole idea is you want them to chant, you want them to be attracted, you want them to hear the holy name. So, like I said, utility is the principle. You know, you have to be practical in the application. So, yeah, another question.
I guess one is you're mentioning sannyasis don't really have that much power to pull Westerners in the Western world.
Not always. I mean, I'm trying my best.
But I'm curious, what do you see aside from you said that they're kind of they don't get that social respect in the West? What is it that makes the grihastas more effective at preaching, from your view, than the sannyasis? For people?
In many cases, well, the sannyasis they work in coordination with the grihastas. I think if it was just sannyasis in the Western world, it really wouldn't work too well. But the sannyasis, you know, they perform the function of being, I guess, the natural guru or the leaders or the guides. And grihastas can also be guides too. We have plenty of grihasta gurus in our movement, like my good friend Kalakanta Guru in Gainesville. You know, he's wonderful devotee, great devotee. And I have many grihasta friends who are gurus too. But the sannyasis naturally get that respect, so they use that respect, you know, something special like that. But the grihastas can give more of, let's say, a warm atmosphere. You know, the family atmosphere is a very warm atmosphere. I mean, even I like visiting grihastas because it's a very warm atmosphere. I think we should stay in sannyas ashrams. It's not so warm, plus people don't respect your privacy. You have to stay in the temple, and then any minute of the day someone's going to come when you're trying to do some studying or something like that. So I mean, so there's, you know, so even I appreciate the grihastas. Actually, Prabhupada said, interesting in Bhagavatam, it says in the story of the enlightenment by the natural path, remember that, Mother Krishna?
Yeah.
That the grasses are like the bees that collect all the honey.
Right.
And the sannyasis are like the honey thieves.
Exactly. Exactly.
They go to the homes. The grasses work hard, and the sannyasis get supported by the grasses. So that's it. That's there in the loving canon of Srimad Bhagavatam. So yes, I think both work together. I think both things are necessary. But as far as the initial cultivation of people, long term, the sannyasis generally are moving. But I'm moving, I'm going all over the place, and next week I'm going to Sacramento. And then I go back to Carolina, and a week later, 2 after that, I go to Chicago to do a series of seminars, and then after that, we have Janmashtami, and the weekend after that, I fly to Australia, and then 3 days after that, I fly to Fiji. So anyway, so I fly to Fiji, and then 2.5 weeks after that, I fly to Hawaii. 2 days after that, I fly to New Zealand. 1 week after that, I'm just getting my schedule.
I'm listening.
1 week after that, I go back to Australia. 1.5 weeks after that, I fly to Mumbai, take a drive to Pune. 1 week in Pune. 1 week after that, meetings. And then 1 week after Pune is near Bombay. And then 1 week after that, I fly back to North Carolina. God knows it. And then probably like a week after that, week or 2 after that, I fly to Mexico, to Guadalajara, Mexico. So it's not too much opportunity for me to be hospitable. So, anyway, it's a brief explanation. I said that's not even including all the programs I do in each location. In New Zealand, for example, we do like 11, 12 visits a day a week. Different homes. So, yeah, so the grasses are much more stable. I'm unstable. So, does that answer your question? It's better for cultivation. And of course, I'm able to keep in touch with people through God bless the internet. God bless WhatsApp. God bless Zoom. What else God bless? God bless Facebook. What else? Oh, God bless YouTube. Who else should I bless?
I think you can get a telegraph next.
What?
You can get a telegraph next.
No, not Telegram. God bless. So, enable us to be that, people watching me now, maybe from all over, I don't know. Because it's just one aspect. When I'm broadcasting on this, and also simultaneously broadcasting on YouTube and Facebook, so. Sorry. Anyway. So, I think it's time to go. What?
I just had one point I was really thinking about that's important that I've seen over the years that if one tries to give up household life because they're frustrated and they want a way out, then that actually leads to a disaster in so many ways. And if they take, let's say, some renounced position, but they're leaving household life because they're frustrated, they're going to take that same frustration and find that in sannyas life, like you're explaining, they're traveling and everything, that they're still going to have to tolerate things. So it seems like in whatever ashram one is in, that Krishna arranges for one, that one has to actually be self-reflective
That's true. And then also, whatever ashram you're in, you're still the same old person.
Right.
The same old desire.
See yourself.
Unless you take sannyas and you become a great devotee by taking sannyas, then you're just a pretender. It's better to be honest in your particular situation. You know, so you don't change yourself by changing your ashrams. It just doesn't work like that. You know, even though you take sannyas and everyone respects you, you get all the Mahaprasadam, which I can't eat anymore anyway. That's the frustrating thing. Took sannyas to get the Mahaprasadam and I couldn't eat it. The other reason I took sannyas. So that's not true. Actually, I took sannyas right after Prabhupada left the planet to dedicate my life to Prabhupada's service. That's the reason. I was just a rather austere life before taking sannyas. I was in New Vrindavan. This is a funny story. I was in New Vrindavan 1 year, not the whole year, but taking care of Prabhupada and helping here people for Prabhupada. And it was so austere in New Vrindavan that the morning prasadam for the devotees was oat water from horse oats. You know, because it's cheaper to buy horse oats than people oats. So then you didn't even get a chance to eat the oats. It was the water from the oats. Oat water and no fruit, you know, and milk, you know, plenty of milk. This is the early days of New Vrindavan. And then lunch was pokeweed soup with some beans in it, you know, some beans and pokeweed soup. And chapati, so that's not it was good. So, but I was more intelligent. I worked in the kitchen. just like if any of you ever have to go to prison, it's better to get kitchen duty. It's always like prison at that time. So I was more intelligent, and I got to eat these remnants, and also in the DD garbage, there was a lot of nice stuff. So anyway, so basically, whatever situation we're in, we should be trained up in satisfaction, being happy with that situation. Because if we're not satisfied with what we have now, we won't be satisfied with the next in the future. You know, Krishna gives you a cold shower, you can't get a hot shower, just be satisfied. That's what we have. You know, if Krishna gives you more, you accept it. Accept it. You know, just like come here and you driven around in a fancy car, it's nice. So you just test it, it's very nice. And then sometimes you go a place where you're driven around in a junker. Okay, I think it's time to share a program. Thank you very much. We'll see everybody this evening for the initiation. All glories to His divine grace.